Hello and welcome. My name is Naraya Guerin. Hello and welcome. My name is Naraya Guerin, and this is installment number 2 of storytelling about. Hello and welcome. My name is Naraya Guerin, and this is the second installment of telling a story about the stuff that I'm doing along the way to doing the big thing that I'm doing later. So while I get this base video for storytelling, I'm gonna clean this room because it's been a very busy few weeks and I need to get my everything back in order. So, where to begin? Well, I guess I'll start with the big obvious thing, which is that I walked around the entire perimeter of Louisville, Kentucky, about 100 miles, juggling the entire way. This was a proof of concept kind of project for the big trip that I'm gonna be doing later in the year, and it went pretty well, all things considered. I did sprain a finger, which is almost healed up now, kind of weird, and I had some joint pain in my hand, but that's almost better as well, so hopefully nothing to worry about there, and I'm just gonna heal stronger and that won't be an issue again. But we'll see. Let's talk about what these days looked like. Day 1, I could barely wait to get out of the house. I was so excited. I was up early. I wasn't gonna start until about 11, and it was about 9 and I was ready to go. My starting point was close enough to where I live that I got to walk over there, so that was nice, but I was literally just pacing for like the last hour before I actually got out of the apartment to go head over there. And yeah, day 1 was cool. It had a little Instagram live stream leading up to it. I was talking about what was in my bag and whatnot. It was an easy path. It was the part of the route that I was familiar with the most, so I didn't have to worry about navigating anything super tricky. Day 1, I dropped a total of 150 times. It was the hottest day of the trip, so I did, I think, the shortest distance of any day. I only did like 12 miles. Day 2 was a little bit different. It cooled down a lot. It was a little bit rainy. I stopped for food along the way. It was very cool. I got something like 15 or 16 miles done, and I dropped a total of 140 times. I think the most difficult thing about the process day to day was not so much like physically doing the thing, it was that I couldn't have music playing. I didn't really think about it going into it, but even when my phone was super fast charging on a really good portable charger, I couldn't run hotspot for the camera in the laptop to run the live stream, and Bluetooth to connect the phone to the camera, and GPS services to keep track of my route, and Bluetooth to also connect my music to my headphones, because I couldn't play my music out loud because copyright issues for YouTube. So there was a lot of quiet with my thoughts, and that was fine, I guess. But yeah, it was just really, really boring. A lot of the time, especially on days like day 2, there were a lot of trails that I got to follow on the way down, which made it very easy to navigate. But because there was nothing for me to like really pay attention to, it was super boring going through the entire route. Day 3 was the first very difficult day. I had to do a lot of improvising on the route because the Louisville Loop is it's like a city project that will eventually have a walkable trail around the entire perimeter of Louisville, Kentucky. Right now, it's maybe 40% done, and then the rest of it is just stuff that's in a design phase, or it's just conceptual plans to be eventually. So day 3 and day 4, I had to navigate through neighborhoods, down roads that did not have sidewalks, and find my way from point A of connecting part of the Louisville Loop to point B of the next connecting part. And then this one would be only start through the back of a cul-de-sac in a neighborhood, was only accessible like through people's yards because it was supposed to attach on the other side through a path that did not exist yet. But then it would spit me out on the other side to a road with no sidewalks for miles and miles. And yeah, day 3 and day 4 were very, very tricky. Day 3, I had a total of 292 drops, which was by far the most I had of any other day. And then day 3 was 172 drops. No, day 4, what did I say? Day 3, day 1, 150 drops. Day 2, 140 drops. Day 3, 292 drops. Day 4, 172 drops. Nailed it. Day 5 was way easy again. I got to walk through nature trails all the way up from basically the bottommost point of the loop to as high as I really needed to go. It was something like 15 or 16 miles by the time I was done that day. It was completely exhausting, very curvy trails. I think that the mile markers were marked as the crow flies or something, because the time that elapsed to cover the distance that were marked on the trails just nothing was adding up that day. But day 5 was very easy. It was just probably the most exhausting day. And then day 6 was super refreshing. I got to walk on roads that I was very familiar with. I got to walk down a lot of sidewalks. The parts that there weren't sidewalks wasn't too difficult, especially because, again, I was familiar with the road. So day 6, I dropped a total of, I skipped day 5. Day 5, I dropped a total of 102 times. Day 6, I dropped a total of 97 times. And day 7 was pretty easy. I only left a little bit for myself on day 7 because I wanted to make sure the trip itself took 7 days. That was what I estimated in the beginning, and that was what I made all these headbands for. So I wanted to make sure that as long as I had these made, I had something to account for here. But if I did a little bit more on 1 or 2 of the days, I could have done this in 6 days, but day 7 was about like 3.5 miles from start to finish. I only dropped like 28 times. I don't remember exactly. I'll have to look back at the video. And then, yeah, it was a little underwhelming to finish. This was a project that I was very excited about. Like, obviously it's a proof of concept for a much larger thing that I've got going on in a couple months now. And I'm glad that it went so well. I'm glad that it was more or less what I hoped it would be. But arriving to the end on a Wednesday early afternoon was a little underwhelming. I mean, nobody's there. I couldn't get a single news station or even a local Instagram page to pick up the story in any way. It was kind of weird how much I didn't get a response, but I think that part of that is because I'm still working on developing a simple, digestible soundbite for what my motives are. And until I have a simple, digestible soundbite, I don't want to talk somebody's ear off trying to justify or explain what I'm doing because I need 5 minutes to explain my motivations or inspirations. So there are motives here. There is an inspiration. There are things that I want to accomplish with this platform, with this project, with this trip, but I don't myself understand all of the details of it yet. So I'm not trying to misrepresent what I've got going on moving forward. I'll probably get to that maybe in my next long form video like this. But right now, I'm just talking about the loop and how cool it was. So like I said, each day of the loop, I made these sweatband sets that are all embroidered with my logo and what day it was. So day 1 through day 7, my goal in the next couple of weeks is I'm gonna have all of these framed with another special collectible item related to this trip that I do not have yet in hand. And each one of these framed pieces will probably go up for sale for like $500. Not because they're worth $500, but because it's something for fundraising. And if somebody wants to have a little piece of memorabilia for an early part of this project, then it will help me fundraise in a big way. So if you're watching this, if you care, keep an eye out for that, because they will either sell super quick or they won't sell at all. We'll see. But my original goal was to do something like this for the big trip from LA to New York, but these were hot. These were a lot hotter than I thought they would be. So on the 2 days where it was actually kind of warm outside, I was cooking in these. All sweat aside, they have been washed, so they will be fresh in their frames whenever I do get to that. Then for 3 days after I juggled the Louisville Loop, I ran a 10-mile race here in town called the University of Louisville 10-miler, and I juggled the whole thing. It's called joggling. That is a real thing. People do it. It is a sport and an activity that I should probably do a bit more due diligence in understanding the tradition and history of. But I tried joggling for the first time, and it was really hard. 10 miles was an insane distance to start with out of the gate, learning something like this. Fortunately, I learned in the first probably mile and a half how to maintain it comfortably. The catching hand has to be opposite to the stepping foot. Otherwise, if you're on the same side, it's like really awkward and you'll get off balance. So once I realized that, every time I dropped, it was a total of 34 drops, by the way, for that entire 10 miles. So pretty good. Every time I dropped, I understood where to pick back up so that I would catch on the opposite hand that I'm stepping with a foot. By the time I got to like mile 6, I was toast. I didn't know how much more I could do. I was really starting to pay attention to the mile markers. Once I got to mile 8, the last 2 miles were just excruciating because the last mile, you knew where you were and you knew exactly how much you had left, and it was so much more excruciating to like fully understand you're not that close to the end point. When I did finish, I threw the ball in hand over the finish line, caught it on the other side. Not the most difficult thing I've ever done. Honestly, juggling the loop was probably harder. This was more fun than anything, but I am pretty sore now from it. My shoulders are so much more sore just from that 10 miles than they were from any day of juggling the loop. My legs are actually feeling pretty good. After doing the loop and doing this 10 miler, stretching a bit, my legs are, como se dice? My legs are pretty well conditioned right now. So I'm feeling good about that. If you are watching this and if you care, please, again, as always, donate to my GoFundMe, donate to my Venmo, Cash App, find the links in my link tree, support this project in any way that you see fit. Everything helps a lot. And even if you don't donate to the project, engagement. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, tell people about this. If you have any ideas, questions, comments, concerns, anything that you would like to see me talk about, I'm new to this whole content generating thing, so if there's anything that you think would be cool for me to add to the story or that you feel like I'm missing from the story, please let me know. All help is appreciated. No advice is unsolicited advice. But yeah, let's talk about stats for the trip. Total time in for the Louisville Loop. Total drops per day. If there's any other metrics that you think I should be paying attention to or keeping track of while I juggle any other distance, let me know. If you're here this early in the project, thank you for being here. I'm going to continue to try to do great storytelling, and I'm going to continue to try to figure out how to do it more and more effectively. A lot of time is going into these parts of the process in an early phase where I'm not really seeing like a return on the investment. If you are one of the very few people participating in this early on, I really appreciate it. Thank you. It's also my wife's birthday. Actually, hold on. Wife, I need you in here. Come on, let's go. Make it snappy. Yeah, could you stand on the X here? Excuse me, Boudin, this is not your time.
Where's?
This is my wife. This is my wife.
There's no X here.
I know, but this is my wife. Her name is Ariana. We call her Ari. She is the most beautiful woman in the whole world. I love her more than anybody has ever loved anybody in the whole wide world. It is her birthday today. We are about to go out and have such a fun time. That pretty much covers it. This is my Ari. I love her so much. This is my wife.
Hello, microphone.
You're my favorite.
That part's not going in there either.
Who knows? This is my wife! All right, well, we're gonna wrap it up now. Bye. Like, comment, subscribe. Comment juggle for a free reply to your comment. Okay, bye. Oh, she left. Wait, come back. Bye-bye now. All right, everybody do a bow.
Wow.
Wow. No encores. Well, I mean, I'll make another video soon, but yeah.